Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 20-something of Never Split the Party. We are playing Paizo's Starfinder, most of the time, all the time I'm playing. I don't know what the party's doing. We are, in this episode, or the next, I really don't even think these guys can drag it out longer, wrapping up our prologue arc. We'll have a bit of a shift in scheduling as to what's going on. I think I've got Nick running at least one shot for a week. And we'll be doing a bit of just a gap in between the overall Starfinder story while we get mostly prepared. The next bit of the story all hashed out on my end, and then I tell the players how to be better players for about a week, and they ignore me, and then we'll start up again. The good thing about the beginning of a new arc, we'll be renumbering our YouTube episodes for people to follow along a little bit more cohesively. But the idea is at the beginning of each arc, we're going to make it our absolute best to be. That's when you can jump in and start watching the Never Split the Party Starfinder show. If you don't want to go back and watch almost 30 episodes of these folks getting to know their characters, missing the prologue arc won't be so bad. Jumping into the first arc would be a great idea. In kind of preparation for that, I have a request for our viewers, which is if you know anyone who might be remotely interested in watching people play nerdy things on stream, let them know that there's a new jumping on point coming on. I'll be advertising it on our Twitter. I'll be blasting and talking about it in our Discord. It'll be in the show notes for YouTube and our audio. Keep an eye out for it. Invite your friends. Come on back for the relaunch. I'm going to be having the first episode. We're going to be doing a little bit more. I don't want to say scripted because I couldn't keep these guys on a script if I tried. But I'm trying to have that first episode be smooth at the beginning, and then I'll let it all break loose into crazy murder hobo. Why did people give Rye grenades?
I bought them, thank you.
Hey, Zero, you want to go steal some grenades?
Yeah. All right. For tonight, we're going to do introductions. We will do announcements, and then we will jump into a brief recap, and then we'll get to what's going on this episode, which, should be interesting. For starters, my name is Dustin. I also go by the Arbitrary Nerd, and I am Never Split the Party's GM.
My name is Patrick. I am playing Reich Oren, also known as Rai. He's a Lashunta envoy and an actor, and he holds a record for longest, most awkward intro ever on this show.
Was that last week?
That was last week.
Just making sure.
I am Michael, and I am playing Zero, who is an android operative, the ship's pilot, and as of last week, a sniper.
I'm Chris, and I play Mila Dotwood Abigail Priest. Priest, spelt like price, but, pronounced Priest. He's a mechanic and a Yosoki, and he's pretty good at what he does. Yeah.
I'm Nick, and I play Brawl, who's a Yosoki soldier. He's a co-conspirator for the rice oven fiasco. And he does like to, try to do things in the game, but Roll20 doesn't always agree.
I'm hoping to get more footage for our Brawl Rolls a 2, which has been a really wonderful stream on Reddit.
It'll be a 3 now. Hi, my name is Justin. I play Seeker, the android technomancer, and Brawl's artistic mentor. As of last week. And Stefathins.
Yep.
Brawl's getting all sorts of cultured. He's taking
acting
or whatever lessons from you, painting lessons from me, cooking lessons from me.
I'd say mixed media art more than painting, but that's okay.
I couldn't remember the term.
You could have just stopped it. You couldn't remember, and that pretty much wraps it up. All right. That works for introductions. For announcements, I will start for once. This Friday, if you're willing to wake up for it, at 6:30 a.m. EST, I'll be playing a game with Ask a Pathfinder and some other fun folks, and that will be streaming on Ask a Pathfinder's Facebook page. If you're not already following him, I definitely recommend you do. He's got some really great tips on free access to tips on how to RPG. He sticks it mostly to Pathfinder, but a lot of that is easily transferable to D&D, Call of Cthulhu, whatever you're playing. We'll be playing a Pathfinder one-shot that I am very much looking forward to, even if Australian time being 6:30 a.m. here is going to be a little rough, but I'm looking forward to it. Maybe
I just want to
the
hop
video.
on to that too. Ask a Pathfinder, where he's really good about breaking down the rules. Pathfinder can be a little bit rules heavy, so like if you have something specific like combat related, he actually has whole videos dedicated on how to make combat easy. So definitely check him out.
I
Can't
also
wait
jumped
to
into his.
ask him about Pathfinder 2.0.
Yeah, that'll be a good topic of discussion.
Yeah.
I jumped into his Discord last week, or we bumped into each other, I guess, actually on another Discord, and then I jumped over to his. And he actually took the time out of his day to give me lessons on how to manage an Irish accent, because I'm trying to do some more voices.
It's kind of funny coming from an Australian guy.
Well, so I made the joke. I had reached out. I was like, "Hey, I'm trying to do an Irish accent. It either sounds Irish, Scottish, or for some strange reason, Australian comes out when I'm trying it." And then we did like a little voice chat, and he coached me a bit, and then yeah. So definitely check out Ask a Pathfinder wherever you can find him. He does bump around a lot, but his Facebook is his central location. For other announcements, this is a rehash, but either next week or the next couple of weeks, we'll be switching up who's running the game for a brief span of time, and we'll have Nick, who looks terrified. I'm sure he's ready for possibly next week.
You got it, Nick.
Maybe.
I think I'll still be here unless he kicks me out. I'm planning on actually participating, but it's more of for the story writing aspect. We're going to give me a week or two off so I can actually develop the next arc, the next part of the Never Split the Party Starfinder story.
So basically, when Dustin was saying, I'm your GM for pretty much everything ever, he was lying through his teeth.
So I didn't say it tonight, actually.
But
I know. I noticed. I noticed.
Shut up. Any other announcements?
I think you're all great.
Oh, that's so
Oh,
nice.
stop it.
Except for Pat.
All of us?
God damn it. I knew it. I knew there was better. A lie.
And not so much Pat, more so Rye.
Was that it for announcements? We've got one official and one insulting. I think we've hit our quota. Okay, perfect. For the recap, the party decided to incite a pseudo-rebellion on Pyramid Station Alpha. Pyramid Station Alpha, known to locals as
Pie Stout.
Pistol.
No, it's just Miller's accent. That's how he says it.
It's my accent.
Yeah, that's not how it works. Known as Pistol, has been locked down by the Border Space Union. Not entirely sure what's going on. The party has uncovered some interesting information in regards to persons responsible, being Derlith Gerson, the military commander for the Border Space Union, seems to be responsible for this whole shenanigan. And they also found some documentation on something called the Sister System Initiative, or Sister Systems Initiative. I don't remember what the
You
actual.
should know this.
That's fine.
Do they have it like SSI in Comic Sans as their logo?
I hope so.
It's not that kind of thing, but maybe we'll see how that goes. And that's still a little bit of an enigma as to what the actual plans are. But it does seem like Pistol is going to be having a rough time of it. And in response, the party has attempted to organize a mini rebellion using the Archie's Rice Oven as their meeting location. Or sorry, Rice Oven LLC. Can't forget the LLC as their meeting location. They managed to jury rig a hologram of the now ex or deposed leader of the Border Space Union, Arch Chancellor Haar, which is directing some of the forces away. And they're trying to gain access to the Central Dome's security office, which they at least know is a little bit tied to communication jamming and maybe some other issues with what's going on with the greater system. Upon entering entering the building, which did require Zero to show off some snipering skills, they were encountered by Krellis, the somewhat infamous bounty hunter that, if you've been following along since episode 3, you'll have met previously. If not, Krellis
And
is
he's up in the top right over there. Yeah.
What?
We weren't supposed to encounter him until that bar right there.
No,
All the way.
that's a bonus encounter, which is not tied to story encounters. They're talking about Stream Boss, which if you guys want to throw bits at it, we can do 2 Krellis encounters at once. Let's do it.
2 Krellises? What?
We
That's
can
the only way
timey-wimey
he would
with
have
this.
done it.
Timey-wimey with this if we have to. Krellis is a renowned bounty hunter, at least in the outer reaches of space, known for wearing full, heavy body armor. The party knows they carry a rather large hand cannon, a rather large and lethal hand cannon. And then they also, they're aware that Krellis always gets the job done. And it's a bit of a tag there. Anyone else want to add to the recap before we jump into tonight's episode? Awesome.
No.
Great. That was, I love that dead air. Dead air makes me so happy.
Dare.
It was a dramatic pause intentionally for the audio cast.
Oh, gotcha. I delete all dramatic pauses. I'm also going to have to delete.
You gotta delete this. You gotta delete this.
I got to delete. I
Paul
made it. What
Hansen.
was that? His first words out of his mouth. What are you, Patrick? Come on.
You got to delete this.
We're gonna cut this.
Doing the cut dance. Gonna
Alrighty.
cut this out. Cut it.
Krellis shoots you all.
You guys enter into the opening hallway for the Central Dome Security Station Security Office. All those words. Let's put them in the right order. That's fine. And you've got a short little hallway, which is the actual offices area for station security. And Krellis is kind of leaning up against their entry desk. And off to the left, there are some doors that some of you know go into like the courthouse area for this dome. And everyone else has walked in and is kind of just exposed to Krellis, except for Zero, who is kind of ducked back in the shadows behind the party. What do you guys do?
Okay, so do I see anything, any sort of filing cabinet, overturned table, big dead body, something to jump behind?
There is a potted plant and a bench, a small bench outside of the courtroom doorway. That's it. It's otherwise it's just a long hallway to get into the actual station office.
Is
Okay.
Krellis, does he have his weapon drawn?
I haven't gendered Krellis. You may do whatever you would like, but
Does-
His weapon is his Mega Man arm. Her Mega Man arm. It's Mega Man
haven't-
arm.
gendered.
There.
It's
Hand cannon.
It's only one person.
and it's a handgun. It's not like a
It said,
Right,
yeah,
like
you
I
called
said,
it a hand cannon, I believe. But
yeah, but like it
Cannon.
was-
Her hand is gun.
no, their hand is not a gun. It's not
Not
Samus.
Samus.
I know you're.
Is it like an Iron Man thing?
No, it's like a large pistol.
Wait,
Okay.
do we, is it just a hand in the shape of a gun and we're scared of nothing?
No.
Was this all a test? Guys, it's okay. It was just a test.
all right, Ryan, get in there.
All
Right.
right, guys.
Right, gets immediately shot and killed. We can.
By
So
imaginary bullets.
is
Pew pew.
Krellis armed right now?
No.
Okay.
He's
So
got
now he's
to.
got no arms?
She's got. It's got to.
But what about the
Krellis-
hand cannon? If he has no
Brawl
arms.
has 2 arms as well.
I have a head cannon.
Just start opening fire, Dustin. Just do it.
All right.
I'm trying.
Krellis is leaning against the desk where you guys had met. I forget the officer's name, the one missing the snow globe or looking for the snow globe. Sorry.
To that.
Basically, the check-in desk is directly behind Krellis, who is leaning up against it with their arms crossed, and had said when you guys walked in, they had said, I believe, "Oh, you guys again."
Okay. So, in lieu of there being a actual thing to hide behind,
Who do you hide behind?
yes. You hear, oh God, and I dive, basically kind of on the floor, land prone, and just kind of commando crawl towards the back of the group.
Bill
And
kind
you
of
hear
looks
me
down
go,
and goes, oh.
and you hear me go, really? As I commando crawl away.
And he's
I
supposed
think
to be
he
a
saw you
talking
right.
one.
That's kind of weird. Anyways, I'm here to fix the signal jamming. I'll be out of here in a sec. He says as he just kind of continues walking.
Stop right there, rat
stops?
folk. No one is allowed past this point, and I've been paid well to ensure that.
Who paid you?
You're met with a stony silence.
Ah, Krellis, it's really nice to see you again. It's been too long, really. So, is there any chance at all you could possibly let us through?
Depends. Who's asking?
Well, I'm asking.
100 creds. You hear from behind everyone, a voice getting ever so distant down the hall.
The offer is ignored. The helmet's kind of visor focuses on Seeker and reiterates, "Who is asking?"
Seeker,
As an existential crisis.
yeah. Seeker noticeably goes, I am asking.
Ooh.
Wait, was that in a daring voice?
Yes.
So you have your next character drawn up.
Krellis stands up, no longer leaning against the desk, and lazily drifts a hand to the large gun at their waist in a holster that we refer to as a hand cannon, and doesn't draw it, but says, "As interesting as that is, I was paid to make sure no one gets past this point. What would you have
Patrick!
me do to reconsider?"
Stop crinkling.
Well,
Sorry. Didn't know it carried.
Everything carries. I hear everything you guys do. You think I don't hear when you pass gas? I hear.
Nice.
and he loves it.
Nice.
Yeah, so Krellis is asking you what you expect them to do. What's the motivation for me to not get paid?
You hear from the background, oh, just how much was he offering?
Is he...
That's not quite the point. If every person in my career path was simply up the bid,
You'd have so much money.
we wouldn't
Just
get
take
very
the
much
money.
done. At least half of my pay is reputation.
How
Would
about a
Miller know
favor?
Krellis?
Not personally, no.
Okay, so he kind of looks at him and says, "Well, I'm not entirely sure who you are or anything like that, but we're kind of here on more of a moral basis. We have reason to believe that this entire station, the entire station of Heistel, that the entire station of Pistol is at jeopardy. So we're here to, not have it in jeopardy anymore."
Unfortunately, that's not really my concern. I've been paid to do a thing, and I'm going to do a thing, and I don't tend to take advice from those not in the biz.
How about
Okay.
I'm in the
how
biz.
about this?
Stand up.
Wait, shut up.
Oh,
That
So-
was in character.
In unconditional favor from myself.
Hmm.
You gonna make more art for him?
we don't have any eggs.
Make a diplomacy roll.
Oof. Okay. Did I put another point in diplomacy this time? I
Plus
did
one.
not, because I can't, because it's not a what's it called?
Class
So,
skill.
Yeah.
That's not what that means.
Yeah, you can absolutely put points into a skill that's not
9.
class skill.
You can put a point in every single
Yeah.
thing on that list.
You just don't get the
You don't
3
get
bonus.
Three.
Get a 9.
A 9 was your total?
Yeah, but it's also just not. It's not Seeker's thing. So.
No,
Yeah,
it's
9
not.
total.
It's not supposed to be. I'll be honest. I'm not actually getting paid.
Sense
The
motive.
nature of this job led for the payment to be less than I would normally charge for the number of heads or head-like appendages I'd be responsible for. Up the ante a little bit, and with your personal favor, I might be willing to leave.
Sense motive.
Sure.
While he's doing that, what's something like this worth to you?
I got a crap roll. I got 14.
That's fine. They rolled worse. So in terms of you're not detecting any falsehoods. Motive behind it seems to be they didn't get paid enough. They seem to be uncomfortable with what they're doing a little bit.
I thought I misheard. I'm sorry. I thought you said I'm not getting paid.
No, that was sorry. They interrupted themselves and readjusted their phrasing.
Okay.
Yeah,
nothing-
it kind of sounded like he was getting paid to kill a bunch of people, and that was it's its own reward. It was killing a bunch of people. That's
Yeah.
kind of how
it
it
was
sounded.
more the number of heads not matching my fee.
All right. Well, what's
Zero's
it worth?
actually gonna step out and speak up.
Oh,
Yeah, I know, right?
teach me the hiding thing.
From the ground.
Everybody's sitting there like, how'd you do that?
So anyways, I'm going to simply ask, is it safe to assume this was the Border Space Union that hired you?
It would be irresponsible to assume otherwise.
And did they pay you up front?
Yes.
Because the way I see it is, whatever they're doing here, there's a pretty good chance they might see you as a witness later on and try to take you out to cover their tracks.
We were given assurances that this would not be the case. This isn't our first time taking distasteful jobs. The reason why they didn't go syndicated is because they want to have a couple of... It's easier to manage freelancers.
And did they leave you a way to get off the station?
Hey.
Oh, you do that so much better than Patrick. Thank you. I'm just going to leave that one standing. And
As far as your ship, is your, what is it, the drift drive?
uh,
Is that the one that's not?
The drift
Working
engines,
for-
yeah.
yeah, the drift engines aren't working.
Drift engine.
Drenching.
We have been given allowances as the day goes on, and he pulls, or sorry, they pull a it's like an encrypted looking, like a very thick looking military style data pad, not commonly used. Looks like it would be both physically hard and probably technologically hard to crack independently. And they say they've been giving us updated instructions as developments release, hence why my price has been a little abused.
So,
I have a way off of the station if you're willing to confirm the favor. Again, motion specifically to Seeker, and up the ante, and I'll let you name what you think this is worth. I could be considered malleable this evening.
I mentally one-way communication with Seeker. What in the hell do you have?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, this is me not worrying. This is me not worrying. Have I reached the potted plant yet?
Yes, yeah, you have reached the potted plant.
You hear the shaking of leaves.
What this is out of character. What would be upping the ante?
money.
Specifically, probably money. You aren't quite diplomatic enough to have the personal favor work. Personal favor is definitely why this conversation's continuing, as opposed to just being a failed diplomacy. However, it wasn't enough for payment.
Okay. Well, how much are we willing to give, guys? I mean, out of character, obviously. I'm not saying this.
Keep it in character while you're telepathically
Alright, yeah.
talking to.
Okay,
Right.
so-
You also have, telepathy, most of you. So
That's
So
also true.
from the background, you hear the shaking of leaves as it comes closer and closer and closer, and Rye shows up carrying a potted plant that he's kind of hiding behind, and it's shaking a little bit as he's walking up towards, and he goes, "Look, I don't want to draw this out any more than I need to. You have a thing that you need to do. I have a thing that
Right, you're a man.
and I'm scared."
Yeah, man.
Act like you're doing real good.
Oh, I didn't see that Zero took the credits, but we do have all those credits that we
Exactly.
that
I
Zero
forget,
stole.
does anyone remember how many credits we got? How much credit?
Yeah, it's
5K
15,000.
or
15,000.
15,000?
that's how much Zero got.
Yeah.
Well, and
What do you mean?
I
how
think
much?
only Miller knows about it.
No, I saw it.
Oh, did you?
Yep.
So
Seeker's the only one that doesn't know.
yeah. So that'll be fun. 15,000. Where? So I walk up to Krellis and I say, "Look, I have seen what you do in your line of work, and I'm not going to mince words or try to outsmart you or anything that will make that point towards me. How much will it cost? Plus my friend's favor, apparently." And I point at him with the top of the potted plant and then put it right back up, right? So I'm hiding behind it again.
Still standing. The arms cross and the chest swells up underneath the heavy armor in the obscuring mask. And they say, "I want you, Lashunta, to tell me how much every person on this station is worth to you."
Well, I don't know a whole lot of people here.
I'll hone it in. I'm only responsible for Central Dome.
How much would it cost to save the life of the magistrate?
Let's see.
Put your number on it.
See, I don't have much money. That's why I'm kind of not saying anything right now. I think I have like 1,000 credits on me, which is bad.
I say, well, see, you're talking about a whole populace, so I don't know how to put a dollar figure on that, but I am cheap, so I'll try to scamp out a little bit. Well, 10,000 creds do.
Roll diplomacy.
Thank you.
Where do you intend to get this money, Rye?
I'm taking it from your pocket, with or without your permission.
Well, that sucks. All your guys' shares just got spent.
Yes, they did.
What was the roll?
21.
They shrug. I suppose I could walk out of here for 10,000. I might even be willing to help you out a little bit for that much.
I point at Zero. I go, Zero, pay the person.
Zero pulls out. Is it possible for me to divide the credits?
So the way I'm using it is cred sticks. If you have like a handful in your pocket, you could easily just set like one to they can
Okay.
transmit in between. I'm
do
not
that.
not making that difficult. That doesn't need to be any more complicated than it is.
All right. So I do that, then I walk up and I hand it to him.
Okay. That's
Person.
fine.
How begrudgingly do you look angry as you walk by me? What color are your tattoos?
Only Seeker is color coded as far as I can tell.
I don't know. This
Yep.
might make him real angry.
Why? I'm still getting more than my fair share.
How?
That
Secret
still leaves
Research
me with
is normal
5,000
blue right
as
now.
opposed to 3,000.
Oh, like I'm not going to announce to everyone that he stole the money? Leave it for in character later.
That's a conversation for later. So the 10,000 credits is transferred. For a second, Krellis checks their personal data pad, which is embedded into their armor, shrugs again, and says, "All right, you have bought temporary assistance. I'm going to give you the lowdown. I'm going to give you this unlocked," and she hands to Zero the military data pad.
Confirmed.
What?
You said a gender.
Oh, sorry. They hand it to. I don't have a gender. There's literally no gender for this character. if I'm gendering, it's because I'm stereotypically applying genders.
It's just
They
a suit of
hand it
armor.
maybe.
Sentient suit of armor.
For all you guys know, there's no gender to this character by design.
It's just like Alphonse. It's just armor, nothing else.
They apologies. Hand Zero the military style data pad, and then they also say, in the chief's office back there, apparently, when the lockdown is finished, there will be an emergency broadcast, which will trigger the emergency systems, I guess, in all of the domes. And every security office in their chief's office has one of these single-person escape pods somewhere. It'll apparently become revealed once the emergency broadcast is finished. You can check in the data pad. It has a little bit more details, but the plan was to make sure no one gets in. Definitely no one accesses that computer. And they're referencing to the security chief's computer, which is like in their office, which is the office is behind the desk that Krellos is leaning against. And I was supposed to use lethal force with which to do so. So take that as you will.
By all accounts, I'm dead. He says as he just kind of walks towards the computer.
Every dome has some sort of posted guard. So just a heads up. And they move to walk away. So they kind of walk down the hallway. They brush past Rye, briefly making like mild contact with like a sleeve against their armor walking by.
I'll ask,
They stop.
with you helping us, will you be able to get off on your own? Get off the station?
Oh, you only get one freebie, Michael.
I'll help.
I've got a little bit less than an hour before these hallways close down. I've got time to get back to the docks, but I appreciate your concern. And as they walk past and they come chest to chest with Seeker, they don't look at you, but they say, "I'm likely to call in that favor a little bit later. I'm going to need to go dark for obvious reasons. Also, the intentions of the Border Space Union on this one, they're not good. I strongly advise you to not be here.
Called it.
Strongly recommend you to not be here when this station enters the drift." And she walks off. Sorry, it walks off.
Before, I just want to say thank you for your professional service and discretion. We'll be in touch.
Don't give me that
Sure.
spook. And they walk off.
Now have a nice day.
The doors close behind them, and you guys have the run of this floor. There is no one else that you have seen, and no one else has come out during your interactions. And if you guys were to do a little bit of a search, you wouldn't find anyone.
Once Krellos is gone, so that went well, right, guys?
I in character, I am just staring at Seeker, not saying anything wide-eyed, just like I was on camera.
I learned from the best.
I am the best.
What do you got going on over here, Miller?
Miller's just he's kind of pensive, just kind of quiet, but he's heading over to the computer.
All right, yeah. So when you get into the office itself, it's a relatively small office, and it's like almost like stereotypical superhero like commissioner office, where there's all windows around so that they can see both the entry desk where you guys just walked through, and then also the offices on either side, and then like the hallway that goes back further into the cells. It's a relative mess. The officer, and you guys knew this, was Officer Noah Gentry. He was a bit of a slob, a bit of an alcoholic as well. Rifling through a desk, you would find a couple handles of local alcohol.
Which Miller passes to Brawl.
It's cheap stuff. It would almost be more used for cleaning than drinking, but it's been
Good.
drunk.
He smells.
Yep. And there's like stacks of paper, like not organized. There's like an in and out tray, but they've fallen over onto each other. The office chair looks like some Yosoki have been chewing on it. Cabinets with other files and things. There is maybe a safe tucked into the corner, which is locked. And then there's a computer terminal on the desk, which it's locked. The lock image is just the station security Comic Sans SS logo emblazoned on the as a wallpaper.
Before he starts trying to hack it, he actually looks underneath the keyboard to see if he can find a password.
Yeah, the password is Gentry123.
This guy.
Any caps?
No.
I can't even put a capital in you. All right.
Nope.
Special characters.
Nope.
The one opportunity Chris has to actually use his loud keyboard, he doesn't take it.
It's good for you. Actually, I did that more for Dustin. But...
Pat's right. You actually had the prop for once.
All right, fine.
It's not even half as loud as it usually.
Did you actually type it
typed
out?
the password.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so you actually gain access to the file. Now there are more levels of encryption, so kind of on the desktop, which despite the office being such a hot mess, the desktop is pretty sparse. You get access to local files. You get there's access to personnel files for the station security. There's also files for citizenry or arrests, things like that. You get kind of the standard files you expect. Maybe a couple programs like Mugshot and all that stuff that you can run if you had to. And there is the only folder that seems kind of off on its own. It's not one of the more heavily encrypted files, and it just says SSI.
Double click.
I'm not sure if double clicking is what they do here, but that's I'll allow it.
Single click.
Long click with a blink. Yeah.
You get open.
You get into the folder. You see a familiar document called the Sister Systems Initiative, and then there is just a couple of apps to run, and they're like executables. Executables. Sure,
Yep.
Thank you. And one of them says comm block. One of them says start lockdown, and then another one is what was his personal computer? It was timeline. That's all that folder has.
Timeline.
Yep, timeline.
So they have start but no stop.
Can I get more information about this? Like what computers check?
Yeah, you can give me a computer check.
You know what? I'm going to re-roll that one for my once a day re-roll.
With your cortex.
Yeah. So trying to get into it a little. Miller has a brain fat, and the exocortex.
Technical term.
You kind of you kind of hear it whirring in his brain, and you got 20. Okay.
So the timeline, it opens up basically a port into a secure data pad. It would be very similar to a remote link to something like that military data pad you guys got from Krellis.
Hey, Zero.
Yes.
Let's plug this guy into it.
He moves to do that.
Sure. So what you're going to find is that the military item that you're holding is a limited use device. It has a limited lifespan. It is meant for usually one function only, and it's used for like spy ops. This is something that you'd see pretty frequently in like, in 5 minutes, this message will be, deleted or explode or whatever. This is more of it's supposed to be very one-to-one and then done. In terms of it, it just has a communications log without any option to respond, and it just has messages pop up on like a messaging app, secure style, green text on black background, and that's it. It doesn't have any functionality. It doesn't connect to any other like networks. It is just for communications, and it's a direct line. And it says if you were to open up the timeline, it's the same screen. You get that black rectangular box. It's got the green text on the black screen, and reading through it, first line, guard station security office in assigned dome, and then assigned personnel may vary in parentheses. The second line, which has a later timestamp, maybe by about a day, make sure no one is able to access supervisor's terminal especially. That one is for today. That one, the timestamp was today.
Miller checklist.
The next line, it says, ignore system lockdown. You have special exit, and your transportation has been taken care of if needed. That is a little bit earlier today. The next line, the last line, it was from like if you guys timeline, like if you kind of did like a little bit of math, it's right when you had that last announcement of the hallways closing, and it says the station is about to enter the drift. When the countdown begins, there's an emergency escape capsule in the supervisor's office. It will reveal itself. Use it before the timer runs out, or retrieval cannot be guaranteed. There's like a line below it, like a box where you would start like typing, like the indicator for where the cursor is kind of thing, and it's blinking, but nothing is coming. It's not like there's not typing happening on the screen or anything, and there's nothing pending that you can tell.
All right.
But it is a live feed, is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm. Miller would like to see if he can disable the communications jammer.
So in terms of the communications jammer, you run the file, and it gives you a quick option for on off. It does allow you to turn the communications. Okay, so this opens up communications across the station, and are you guys monitoring communications at all? What's the deal there?
Might I suggest not doing too much, because if they know we're in here and they find out where, they obviously know areas where people can mess with their programs and initiatives here.
They might expedite the process, right?
That, or they might come to get us, and we no longer have a bodyguard.
Was Miller reading out the things as they were coming up on screen, or is this a big enough screen for all of us to be privy to the information that he saw?
Probably not that big, actually. Miller, were you reading them out loud?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I say, well, I don't think we have to worry about it, because there's going to be a ship that's going to show up somewhere in this room.
Yeah.
And we could just...
and as far as I understand, it's going to happen in every single supervisor's room across the stations. Am I correct in...
That's what Krellis told you, more or less,
okay.
Yes.
If we can at least get messages out to everybody on the station, I mean, we can incite a huge rebellion, maybe even save a bunch of people's lives. But here's the thing, we don't know how, what kind of transportation device this is going to be, or anything.
Actually, you do.
Oh, we do?
Krellis explained it fits one person.
Oh.
Yep.
It's for that supervisor.
Dibs.
You do realize it says they will be retrieved later, as in by the Border Space Union?
Mm.
Also correct.
It doesn't really
Undibbed.
save anybody. We just know what's going to happen.
Is this the supervisor's room? Like, is this the actual supervisor's room, or there's...
You're in Noah Gentry's office, which is basically, it is, if you were to like big picture it, and I think you guys would probably be able to ascertain this on your own, you are literally the most center point in the dome.
Oh crap! What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. Can I do any maybe checks? See if I could find anything about the disabled drift devices.
Yes, roll me a just give me a try to hack it. Try to hack this computer and see if there's anything that is not available traditionally to Officer
I'll
Jen.
assist.
Yeah, I got 22,
assist,
but
yeah.
if anybody wants to assist,
I will
24,
assist. 19.
6.
That's enough.
I was
That's
gonna
enough.
say, are you gonna allow each of us to just come up and like hit a key?
Well, I
Yeah,
don't have a
basically.
computer's trained skill, so I wasn't gonna.
Traditionally, assistances should be rolled prior to the actual roll itself, so that way we don't know. Oh, I only rolled a 14. It's not, whatever.
Well,
I don't care. I'm not. That's minimal stuff. I don't care. You notice that there is a hidden file in that folder that Officer Gentry had on their desktop, and it details a little bit more information into the overall plan. And it's called it's called Sister Systems Initiative Profile. And when you open it, you get a little bit more. You were looking for the actual drift drive or anything to do with that.
Yeah.
In this log here, this profile log, you quickly scanning through it, it looks to be it's pretty heavy stuff. It's mostly like metadata, things that were like maybe from even some of the other runnable files in this here. But you do get notes for drift drives successfully disabled as of date, and it's a couple days prior to your arrival. And then there's a sub note. New arrivals past this date will need to be dealt with via special forces. And then you get a couple more notes. And if you do spend a little bit of time reading, which in terms of that, just give me a perception check, and that'll tell me how long it would take you to get any reasonable information.
Oh,
Ooh.
11.
It's a very dense file. You can spend time reading it if you would like. But like as you're scrolling through it, you realize it is probably going to take you half hour to an hour potentially.
Instead, can I download this file and send it to all of my contacts, all my mechanic contacts?
Yeah, you can do that.
All right. So Miller's like, all right, this is going to take way too much time. We need to put more minds on this, more than just the 5 of us. So he starts plugging in things into random ports and kind of all around, and just starts sending out random messages to anywhere and everywhere on the or at least in his contacts list to everyone he knows as mechanics. So all of Archie's folks, Sal and his folks. I mean, I can go through my entire list.
No, please stop.
Okay.
Zero, make a perception check.
All right. 28.
So your data pad, your personal data pad, picks up like maybe some alerts that you keep running, and you do have noticed that because communications have been turned on, you pick it up again. The Border Space Union in the area have all been mobilized and are heading towards Central Dome's security offices. Additionally, Miller, could you give me one thing that you would search for in this hefty document before you shut it down after sending it out? And then I'm going to update you guys on a timeline thing that you may or may not be aware of.
Let's see. Floor plans.
Sure. As you look up the floor plans, nothing jumps out to you immediately except you see something called the black box installation. And this triggers something in your memory, which is why you read it a little bit closer.
Mm-hmm.
It describes, because this is like, again, it's like text document. It's like heavy text and code and things like that. And in terms of it, it describes installation below each and every single dome, a black box. Now, black box could mean a number of things. It's just that's the term they're using for the code. You remember very specifically the earlier episodes, actually the lost episode 2, forever be its name. You had encountered some structures that seemed out of sorts, out of place, unusual to you at the bottom of the dome. Like you were literally spacewalking on the exterior, underneath the floor of the dome, and you encountered some structures that seemed out of place. Now the domes aren't flat underneath. There are dips and rises. There are like basement structures jut down a little bit. Not every dome is uniform underneath, but these objects were odd, large,
Odd black
dark
box
metal
structures outside the station, about 8 to 10 feet tall.
Yep, and there's more than one on the dome you were
Just a
kind of
couple
going
of
under.
them, yeah.
Based on what you overheard Krellis saying to Seeker, based on maybe some of the other documentation, you would think each and every one of these domes has black box is installed, similar to the ones you encountered, and it's very likely that they are in some way related to the drift travel that's upcoming, because this station was built way before drift travel was a thing.
Okay.
So these are later additions. This plan has been going on for a while, is kind of what you can pull from that. But you have the location of all of the drift engines. And they are at like certain points. They're basically underneath every station security office.
Sure.
So under your office, if you were to go like right through the floor, which isn't like a straight, like it's not like a thin layer, but if you were to like phase through the floor, you'd likely find those black boxes you encountered when you were underneath one of the industrial domes. And again, those domes are likely like close to the center, underneath the dome. That's what you got for floor plan. There isn't much else, just because that's a dense search.
All right.
Rye's holding up a finger.
Is this mentioned out loud?
I assume everything Miller does is mentioned out loud because he likes to hear his own voice, similar
That's exactly
to Rye.
I mean, I thought you were going to say similar to Chris, because that's...
I look at
Also
Brawl
true.
and shout out the cutter.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's a good idea. Good thing
So
I
I
picked
look at
phase
Brawl again.
through floors
The
as a
cutter.
spell. Right.
So we probably have about 45 minutes, if not less than that, before the lockdown finishes.
The
also
hallways will be closing down in 45 minutes. Thank you, Zero.
And
It
And we
takes
have
you
station
probably
security.
it takes you probably a half hour to get to one from dead center of the dome, and that's if you're rushing. If you guys are going slow, or there was like a crowd, which is like standard, it would take about an hour. But because the domes are mostly emptying or not in the areas like traditional like people travel, you guys could get to the domes in about a half hour rushing, or the edge of the dome, which is where the hallways are.
Miller, can you send that information to all of your mechanic friends? Maybe they might be able to get something done on the other domes?
Already done.
Miller, you've started to get some responses back.
All right.
They're not promising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
was gonna say,
Durkin
wait.
reading this Durkin file. I'm getting my family off this station, or I'm closing up shop permanently. Pistol's getting too hot for me. Good luck, bruh. Or you get, this is really interesting. I'm totally going to use this when they lift the lockdown. Very excited. I'm glad you got this. I will totally throw a nod in for this pro bono work.
I shout out, send some to Chimera.
You send it to Chimera. She
Done.
won't listen. She won't open up my email.
That's true.
I do the thing.
we also do need to move soon because Border Space Union patrols are on their way here.
Yes, yes, we do.
Is the cutter
And we didn't
particularly
pay
heavy?
Krellis to
If no one
stand
took my
guard.
to grab it, I'll go do it myself.
It's extremely heavy. Like it's like 5 feet tall, and like
Why don't we just use our ship to reach that spot outside?
because we got to get to our ship, and all the ways are blocked off.
Not yet. You've got
Not
45
locked up
minutes.
yet.
All right,
How long
well
would it take
then
us to get
let's
to there?
GTF out of here.
Reminder, you did just read in the document that any ship that arrived after this point would be dealt with special forces.
But I
No, I
thought
didn't think
all
they
I
were.
thought all ways between each station were locked off.
No, that's literally what's happening. You guys had the announcement that you had 1 hour to finish traversing the domes. This is following traditional Pyramid Station Alpha security routines right now. It's not, nothing's been triggered otherwise.
How long would it take us to get to our ship?
To get to the hallway, it would take you about a half hour. And then once you got into Industrial 1, you'd have access to your ship, supposedly. Again, I don't know what's going on in Industrial 1 right now, but, you know, it's a possibility. It's the hallways that are shutting down in 45 minutes.
All right, well then let's book it.
Can we get an update from Rex now that we have access to?
Sure. Yeah. What's the question for Rex?
What's the situation in Industrial Dome 1 using the ship sensors?
Yeah. Rex comes back on. I'm sorry, Zero, but like he pings in like a video call for your comm. I don't know who you think I am, but I don't do science officery things. You're looking for the android, not the robot. There's a difference. I think you should know.
Is Stephen returned?
Hold, let me check. Stephen!
Use the comm.
I don't think so. Not sub. I was talking to Stephen.
What about Patrick?
I don't think so.
All right, let's book it then.
Probably contact them and tell them to get back.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have a way to
So
contact.
if you can't tell me,
It's true.
how's the ship? Has anybody tried to get on board, or has anybody tried messing with it?
No, ship's fine. The docks got a little exciting for a spell there, and there are some ships taking off, but as far as I can tell, they're idiots. They keep blowing up as soon as they get out of the station. It's weird. The last one, he was still kind of in the station when he blew up. The ship might need a paint job on the left side. Sorry, starboard, port. I don't know the difference.
You're a robot.
I'm actually not a nautical bot. Like, I'm not supposed to. It's fine.
So I, while this is going on, I grab Brawl and I say, Brawl, please help me get the cutter.
All right, I'll help you with the cutter. Jeez.
There's
I want to
I guess
retrieve it
there's
and
not
get
really-
back, because when I hear that the ship's blowing up,
We're not going off the ship.
I want to get to that black box.
Mm-hmm.
Is there
How
an
much?
elevator? Of course, there's an elevator, but can we make the elevator go down?
Yeah, you guys could get to the bottom floor. Yeah. Well, you could get to the hangars, but you guys know with pretty good intuition that is the bottom of the station, because the hangar doors opened.
We could always cut through the bottom of the escape pod, because I imagine the rest of it is just an empty shaft down.
It's another possibility, but you guys do have elevator access to Chimera's little secret docking bay down below there.
Oh yeah, so while this is going on, as I mentioned, I sent the documents to Chimera. I also pass on the knowledge that ships leaving are blowing up sporadically.
Okay, you're not getting a response back yet. In fact, if you were to check, like, have your messages been read, they haven't.
So,
I
would
send
the
a kissy face
fastest
emoji.
way?
I don't send a kissy face emoji.
Also, the other thing we have to remember is we couldn't get the cutter down.
That's true.
Oh,
So we would have
no, that's not true. You couldn't get the cart that you were carrying it on down. You could actually get the, like, you guys were pretty clear that if it's big enough, like, it's like, I think it was only as big as Brawl is how I described it. You could shove it in. It would just be awkward. One of the Ahsoki would have to be kind of running the elevator.
well, we're not in the elevator.
That's
right
fine.
now. We're in the we're on the very first floor. And the did I mishear you? We're on the very first floor.
There's no stairs down. There's no stairs up either.
Okay,
Yes,
but
yeah, we
the
got it.
black box is directly underneath the floor of the room that we're in, right?
It's a
No,
safety
like I said,
hazard.
it wasn't like a thin floor. It was if you could phase to the bottom of the station, you could get there.
Oh,
There's
I
a
mis-
whole
I
hangar
misheard.
below you.
I
Yeah,
misheard
yeah.
you. Ignore everything about the cutter.
I usually no. The cutter's still viable. You just gotta
No,
get
the cutter's still definitely viable.
Oh, well
Yeah.
then.
So we're gonna put it in the elevator. We're gonna go to the hangar and cut through some floors,
Oh,
or at
I
least see
agree
what
with this
happens.
plan.
I had a great idea with the cutter.
Oh, okay. Oh,
What was it?
is that your idea?
That's what you just said.
All right, let's go.
That was my idea.
Rex
Sounds like
Rex,
a right idea. Somebody else's idea.
Is Rex still on the comm, Zero, or did you shut it off once you got your info?
I was still waiting to ask more questions, but yeah, it's still on.
So as Rex is listening, Rex says, maybe you guys should split up.
My good God, Abaddon Rex.
All right. Well, what's
Never.
Well, if we can get to the ship and potentially disable whatever it is that's making them explode, we
Yeah.
could then come and pick you up on the outside.
It's true.
It could be just more ships firing at whoever's leaving.
You guys do remember there was a sizable Border Space Union
Yeah.
fleet around the station, yes?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
What purpose would we split up, Rex?
0.
Well, if I'm understanding the situation, some of you could come to the ship and see if you can solve that problem. Some of you could do whatever you're doing with a industrial cutter, and there may be other domes you could go to for assistance or to help yourselves, possibly.
Help myself.
It sounds like the issue is not centralized to where you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
0. You think you could outmaneuver those ships out there?
I mean, if they have their guns aimed directly at all of the exits, chances are there's a full barrage going out.
I think I would have noticed that many blasts outside of the dock. It didn't seem
like
that
they
violent.
exploded. Didn't
Plus,
seem
if
like
you're
they
ready
exploded
for
or
it.
they shot.
It's hard to say. I don't have that great of view from where I am, just the what I could see through the viewport. But yeah, I didn't see any barrage like you're talking about, like a full fleet's worth of laser bolts or what have you. It was more some of them got outside, and then they just exploded either right as they were leaving my view as the dock was closing, or the one that exploded inside of the dock. I didn't see much about it other than it exploded.
As far as the ones that exploded, were they all? Could you tell if they were all new arrivals?
Only one arrived after us.
And that one exploded, or was that one fine?
Oh no, it exploded. It got the farthest, I think. I wasn't really measuring. I was just kind of watching. It was like fireworks. Reminded me of Seeker for some reason.
I wish I could have seen it.
I'm
Not
sure
sobbing in the background. No, you don't.
All right. Well, assume we split the party. Who's going where?
I'm obviously going to the ship.
I'm interested in this
Pilot it.
black box.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be going with the cutter.
So you're leaving me with Brad.
Hey,
Well,
bud.
he's the captain. If the ship goes down, he has to go with it.
Okay.
You wanted this.
To Miller
Yeah.
says, send a message to Archie that all of them should head to the ship now.
Will do.
Seeger leans in. That was a joke.
I look at Brawl covering my stomach and say, "We told you no jokes."
All right. So the you guys are. I'm gonna put you under duress because you guys do have security converging on you.
Mm-hmm.
We have Zero and Rye going towards the hallway that'll take you guys to Industrial 1, which is fine. Fortunately, Rye is the one with most of the plans. You guys have the good idea that a large portion of them are coming from the Blitzer Ball Stadium, because that's where you had kind of directed them all. And otherwise, you have somewhat of an idea as to where the patrol should be, Rye, from that time you scan that dude's brain, on the way here. For the other three, Seeker, yeah, you did need to stay because you're the one with actual elevator access to the bottom floor. You actually have to cram in with the cutter. You have to go down, and then you have to come back up for the Isoki. It doesn't take very long. It's not a massively long trip, but your thumb is the only thing that gets down to Kamira's dock. The Isoki do not have that invitation. Alternatively, Rye would have worked, but Rye is going with Zero. In terms of that, does that any issues with what I've just laid out as the plan?
Nope.
How quick could I hack the or break into the safe that was in what's his name's office?
Gentry's.
Gentry's office.
It's not tied to the computer system. It would require you to actually crack the case, not hack, but yeah, I guess
Engineer?
crack is the
But
There was also all of the stuff in the evidence locker,
mhm.
like in that secret room that was all locked behind that cage that we didn't have time to get into.
Mm.
I wouldn't really. So you guys wouldn't really be able to get up there at this point. Elevator would be locked down for that area. You could try, but it wouldn't be.
Well, more like, can I just take a quick crack at it, see if I can pick it before?
Give me an engineering roll, and then depending on how you do,
I want to assist.
29.
So at this point, me and Ryle left.
22.
Yep.
Oh, 29.
It would take you about 10 minutes to actually engineer something that would get you into the case.
No, I don't have time. Nope.
Not worth it. Yeah.
Yep.
I was gonna say I rolled a d4 and it was gonna be d4 times 10. I rolled a 1. That was the shortest amount of time. Anything longer than that, you definitely couldn't have.
Yeah.
10 is still pretty close.
Yeah.
Might have seen it, but I don't think you guys would have liked the end result.
No.
Either way, so instead you guys focus on getting the cutter down into the elevator. I'm actually gonna I'll start with you guys because yours should be relatively easy.
Okay.
Shut your mouth. It wasn't that bad. So we've got the Seeker comes back up for the Yusoki, and you guys are kind of like hanging inside the other elevators, like, looking out, peeping over the glass, make sure no one's coming. You don't see any forces coming yet, but the elevators are also on the back side of the station, not where station security is. So you guys are in an okay position. And I believe the Blitzer Ball Stadium is off to one of the sides. So I don't think you guys are in any immediate threat there, although they'll eventually probably look around.
Mm-hmm.
As you guys, Secret comes up, gets you guys back down. You are now down into the basement, like the sub-basement docking area where you met, Chimera's ship, the Fallen Angel. This time when you guys get down there, you actually do encounter Chimera, who is dressed in a flight suit. It is like a nice magenta. It's a very fashion first suit, but it also looks 100% functional. And she kind of looks up as and you know what? It looks a little military. I should probably highlight that. It looks functional, but also a little military. This isn't just flair. It isn't just a casual spacesuit. Maybe like magenta with some like white piping down the sides. No one else is in the hangar that you can see. And she notices you guys as soon as you and she's kind of like she's holding on to her helmet, and so like her her hair, her antenna are still out, and she looks over. She sees like the Yusoki kind of like scurry out of the elevator, which is kind of crowded with all three of you in there, and then Seeker steps out, and she gives like a half smile, and says, using her limited telepathy, to Seeker, she says, I see that you have accepted my invitation and you are a little bit forward thinking to come here ahead of schedule in light of recent announcements.
Seeker says telepathically, Chimera, it's so nice to see you again. It's been ages. Or an hour? I don't know. Something. No, actually, we're here to save everybody.
And for the Yusoki looking on, her face actually scrunches up at that, and she says, "That's a little pedestrian." What's
Did
the
she
plan?
say that out
Saving
loud?
pedestrians, yes.
No. She's
Okay.
definitely not saying it out loud. That's a little pedestrian. What's the plan so that I may understand why you're in my hangar then?
Apparently there's a black box sort of thing underneath the dome.
All right, you guys are doing your mental thing again. Can we at least talk out loud here?
Seeker is still like gesturing the whole time. He's actually talking telepathy.
She gently clears her throat. In the interest of time, I suppose.
Yeah, we don't got a lot of it. Let's go.
Oh, they're so rude to my
Let her finish. Let her finish, Brawl. She's going to say something. Yes.
As she's speaking, she's now projecting into Brawl's mind the vilest phrases she can, and they are very racially fueled.
And he's giggling.
They get like Yusoki anatomy, and they're surprisingly knowledgeable and offensive, while still speaking with the other two. Excuse me, I was rudely interrupted. What's the plan so that I can understand why you're in my hangar if you are not taking my invitation to board the fallen angel and depart?
We might need to, but do go over the plan, Miller.
I mean, I think right now if we were to leave, it could be a suicide. I mean, we got knowledge that as soon as ships debark, they get blown up. When we were coming in, we also did see large ships surrounding this entire station. So we at least want to get to the bottom of the ship and deactivate some of those black boxes that are underneath. Those are the, from what I understand, are controlling the drift drives in all of the onboard ships. So if I can disable a couple of them, we can get something going, and we can at least save a lot of lives.
Give me an engineering check, just so I can either clarify or let you keep
30.
going. When I said that the black box related to drift drives, I meant the station actually being drift and like capable of entering the drift.
Okay, I didn't know. Okay.
I realize you went in a way that makes total sense, and that's also why it makes sense you didn't go for the ship. No, this is more likely these are what are going to make the dome enter the drift.
Gotcha. All right.
So you are actually trying to save everyone, not in the way I think you were thinking.
Yes. All right. Let me restart then. These boxes are they actually are connected to each of the domes here, and they are drift drives themselves. If we could deactivate them, pistol stays in place and doesn't go into the drift.
I didn't think you could make a space station drift capable.
I didn't either until today.
That's alarming.
It's very alarming. Now, can we truce and work together?
Yes, as long as the thick one keeps his mouth shut.
Brawl, we behave, yes? High five.
He's allowed to speak with you in case he has some sort of...
It's all right. Let's business.
To me. In fact, don't look.
Brawl starts up the cutter.
Wait. The cutter, is that absolutely necessary? I have access to the hangar doors.
All right.
That could work.
That'll work too.
I will. Let me work. I will say the cutter may be useful if we're trying to do this subtly. The hangar doors opening will likely be noticed from any ship watching.
Maybe
my ship is state of the art. My ship is fast. I knew that there was Border Space Union ships out there. I was planning on, depending on what it looked like out there, either exiting in free fall and attempting to enter the drift immediately, which, for the record, takes 3 minutes while you are not under, like, when you're not moving. And again, not moving, I'm taking some liberal terms with, not under propulsion.
Stationary.
Yeah. Well, stationary is one impossible, actually. Everything's always moving in some way, shape, or form. But I'm saying they're not under propulsion. Like, they're not being, there's no other engine pushing it. There's no other, like, excessive force pushing it. So, like, free falling out of the station I'd allow, as long as, like, they got out of, like, gravity. As long as they got out of the gravity of the station, which isn't a lot. It's not that massive of a station in terms of gravity. It would be 3 minutes to enter the drift. That's how long it takes of being stationary. And then she continues without giving it that. So you just know that because that's a mechanical thing. If it looks a little hairy on the outside, I was planning on just going as fast as I could. Most of the vessels out there were large military vessels and warships. And by the time they launched most of their fighters, I'd anticipate me being well at the edge of the system if possible. It is a very modern ship.
Well, I'll leave this decision up to you. I mean, once the hang opens, we're going to be a target. That much is given. Now, do you want to be on your ship and, chance a getaway, or do you want to be here and chance surviving? what was your chances of survival, regardless, before we showed up?
Depends. As I'm to understand it, you bring trouble with you. Let me offer a new plan,
All
and I
right.
want you to start immediately. Yes, thick one. I'm speaking of you. I'm going to seal you in the controller's room,
All right.
which is, I believe the term's hermetically sealed. Is that
Mhm.
hermetically? Okay. It is hermetically sealed, mostly for when this is depressurized.
Mhm.
However, it should work in reverse. I want you to use that spot on the floor and cut straight down through the station. It'll take you a little while, but I don't think we're in any rush at the moment. They haven't, like, I don't, they still have some time until the hallways close, I believe.
Yeah.
I think we still have about almost a half hour.
Mhm.
You can work on cutting through. When you guys exit, assuming this goes without an issue, you can scope out the area from outside. I don't believe they would pick up on something as small as an
A
individual,
Yosoki.
especially a Yosoki, on the exterior of the station. And I suspect getting like the hole would probably be less apparent than opening the station. I could be wrong. I think that's the best of both. You can survey, and then we can make a judge as to what we're doing with the ship.
I like
That's a
it.
great idea.
Let's go, Brawl. Let's do
And
it.
Yosoki are small, aren't they?
And well, as he's starting up the thing, if we get out of this alive, we should have dinner sometime. Celebrate.
You asking her out?
No,
I'll
it's
consider
a
it
business venture.
as long as you bring my boyfriends.
Whatever.
The other one's not dead, is he?
Oh no, he's just
He's
fine.
very much alive. He's all
Not yet.
He's steering our own ship and on that end of things. But we got business to talk to about later if we survive.
I'll consider it. I'll be aboard the ship with Justinian getting it ready.
All right.
Oh, I'm glad to see Justinian made it back.
Yes. Thank you. And she boards the ship. She does keep the ramp open, so you guys do have access to it. And you guys go into the controller's office. It is not a big space, and the cutter is like a it does a lot of work, like an industrial cutter. It's used on spaceships. But you guys can point it at the floor. Maybe one or two people operating it, and the other one kind of standing off to the side, shielding their eyes. Or
Engineering role, I can engineer the hell out of it.
I'm gonna need you to roll engineering, and I'm gonna need you to give me 3 different roles. I will allow if either to have engineering to
I
support
do.
you.
Yeah.
While you guys are
12.
doing that, keep that on the side because I'm gonna go talk to our other players on their trip while you guys are cutting through. Those engineering
So,
roles are determining
Are we
how
doing
long it takes.
1 or 3 primary engineering roles with both of us doing 2 separate engineering assists per role?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
So Miller's rolling point, and then for each one, I'm having 2 assistance options. You have to
All right.
roll a 10 or greater to be giving the assistance. That's all.
Yep.
That's how it works.
1, 2, 3. Oh, nat 20 on one of them. Awesome.
Keep your mouth shut. I want this after. I'm talking to the other players now. I assume that Brawl rolled me a 2, though. Is it a 2? Is it a 2?
I did get a 2.
That's all I cared about.
I got a 3, a 5, and a 2. Oh.
Are you? Jesus, Crow.
Yeah, but 2 of those are still successes.
Yeah, but still, it's the principle.
All right. Rye and Zero, in terms of making your way through the dome, you guys are able to avoid contact, but you do see patrols going by. And these would be ones that are off of the standard patrol route because they are now beelining to the station security office. I'm just going to do a couple of background rolls over here. And I'm going to say those balance each other out. I got a nat 1 and a nat 20. You guys, give me stealth checks, please.
I can do that. Not very well.
I just realized it's
23.
not.
By the way,
Did you want 2 or did you want just 1?
2. You guys are into independence.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, wait.
No, I want
I
1
meant-
from each of you. 1 from
Okay.
each.
I'm
15.
sneakier than 0, just to let it be known.
So that was what was it, Zeros?
15.
And what was Rise?
23.
Okay.
I pulled a brawl.
Don't worry, Brawl also pulled the Brawl.
Brawl also accidentally added 17 to one of his rolls.
Did
Yeah.
I?
I'm not worried about that.
No, I didn't.
Are you looking at something? Oh, no.
Okay, Miller.
Yeah, Miller does probably have a plus 17 because Miller's broken.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
So they don't all look alike. They're different people. Just because they're Yosoki doesn't make them the same, Patrick.
Just like the androids aren't the
Yep,
same.
exactly like androids. Come on.
I tell them apart by smell.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't think Nick has let that one trigger him yet, but that'll come. So you guys do happen to notice that some patrols get pretty close to you. At least one of them gets really close to you, but you guys are able to skirt by without any major issue. You maybe duck behind a doorway or around a corner. Maybe at one point, Rai attempts to like hug you like a lover's embrace in an alleyway, but like Zero's like no, and it doesn't matter. They ignore you enough that you guys are able to sneak by. You get to the edge of the dome, and it took you guys about 30 minutes to traverse there, moving at speed and being careful. You guys didn't get through the patrols quick enough to save any time, is kind of what I'm saying. So you have, and we'll say that the loudspeaker comes on again, and it says, T minus 15 minutes until hallways are closed. As you guys approach the hallway, there are guards stationed. They are 3 figures, and they are wearing familiar crimson red armor. You guys have encountered these folks before. I don't remember if you've gotten the name for them yet. So roll me a culture check from Rai and Zero. Actually, I'll take it. Zero, whatever your check would be for like underground knowledge, knowledge of like the
Don't worry about
criminal
it.
underworld. What was that?
I got 28.
Okay, I don't know.
my name.
I don't know if you made the checks previously or not.
I don't remember.
So like this might be something that you looked up afterwards after encountering them. These were the mercenaries that Dranar had hired during one of his visits to your ship. And at least Rai is aware that they are known as the Crimson Tri-Blades. And because you
had a 25, so I imagine I did.
Yeah, that's enough for both. I will say that Rai actually knows what he believes their names are as soon as I find them. And here we go. They are. There's 2 siblings. There is one of them goes by the name Resnick. The other one goes by the name Gladow. And I'm going to look up the other one in about 10 seconds if you guys give it to me. Because I have to add another NPC because we had some extra YouTube followers on that one. Just 10 seconds. And the other one goes by Halos. So there's Halos, Resnick, and Gladow, and they are known as the Crimson Tri-Blades. They are a mercenary group for hire. They're not quite bounty hunters like Krellis. They're more stylish and advanced thugs, if you had to put a name to it. They'll do muscle work. They'll do guard work. They've been known to take on assassinations under the table because that's not kosher, like on Pyramid Station Alpha, but it's a known secret kind of thing. They're effective at what they do, but you don't hire them for stealth ops. When they're assassinating someone, it's 3 figures in crimson armor wielding loud energy blades and straight up murdering someone generally. They've got a number of wanted or bounties on them. Most people don't usually take them up. It's mostly usually station security that has the bounty. Station security pays like crap, and it's usually, in the instance of the Crimson Tri-Blades, the people who hire them are usually people you don't want to piss off. Those are the 3 that are standing at the ready, not weapons drawn or anything, but they are standing at the ready between you and the hallway to get to your dome with your ship. Around them, could I have you guys roll perception checks to see if you get any more details on the area?
17.
What was the highest of the 2?
17.
17. So with that, you guys do notice that there are a couple of unmoving figures on the floor around them. Not many, but I'd say probably about 2 or 3 bodies, or at least enough parts to probably make up 2 or 3 bodies, and some, small pools of blood on the floor around them. they've been doing some work, it appears.
And this is them blocking the hallway between Central Dome and the dome where our ship is, right?
So the hallway like annex goes to the lower levels here. It goes to Industrial 1 and Industrial 2. There is another hallway that would go to Factory 1, and technically it used to go to Factory 2. It no longer does. Factory 2 is the dead dome, and that's been blocked off. You guys would technically be able to, if you had the time, circumvent these guys by going through the factory dome and then that hallway, but that would take you about an hour and a half, and you don't have that much time.
Okay.
The bodies that are on the ground, can we tell if they're civilians or if they're station security, Border Space Union?
Not from this distance.
And there's a lot of people running back and forth between.
No, it's deserted. It's like a ghost town. There's no one actually approaching this hallway.
All right. Well, this is where I die.
We need some type of diversion.
Yeah.
What grenades do you have?
2 smoke, 2 frag.
Do you want to attempt to use
And
a smoke
whatever
grenade
was
and
the
then
white,
sneak past?
whatever was the white goblin grenade that I haven't used yet, which I think was, if I remember
Flash grenade?
correctly, flashbang.
I believe it was also a flashbang.
Okay. How far away are we from them?
Say you're probably tucked behind some buildings, maybe 100 feet away.
Okay. I hand Zero a smoke grenade.
All right. You have, how many flash grenades do you have?
1.
Do you want to attempt to throw the flash grenade and then we'll immediately throw the smoke grenades after?
That was the idea.
All right.
So,
do we want to?
Full charge.
Well, I was thinking stealth as close as possible.
And then full charge.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to get you guys a bit of a map here. It's just I have to do a quick little ad hoc because this wasn't quite the encounter I expected you guys to go for.
Well, I mean, we got to get through the hallway.
Nope. No. That's fine. Going through the hallway was one of several options. And I'm not saying you guys did the wrong option. You just didn't do the option I expected you guys to get to. That's okay.
I didn't think about it, but I suppose we could have done what we did before and tried to walk through the outside.
That actually would not have worked. Miller had thought about that in terms of other things, and the issue there is that the sheath that covered up the dome would block access.
Okay, so just would Rye, based off of his knowledge, know of any other options besides this hallway? That could be feasible, not like ones that would take an hour and a half.
Not to get to the industrial domes. No, the options would be turn around and go back, or this is how you get to the industrial dome.
Okay.
If you guys jump to Roll20, and if J-Man could give us the Roll20 map. This map is brought to you by, I believe
Darkness.
it's called Shut Your Mouth. It's brought to you by 2 Minute Tabletop, which is a really cool account. I actually haven't looked too much into them. I found them on Patreon and on Twitter, and they do like some really cool, quick, small things, including maps for tabletop RPGs. And this is from their free set, which is really cool. They have like a number of free things. Right now, we're going to use this to represent. I actually just copied it, if you couldn't tell, and I mashed it together. So what you guys have here is you're coming from the northern edge of this map. You guys are kind of tucked around buildings, like residential buildings towards the edge of the dome. There is a number of feet between you and them, which we're going to say is about 70 feet. We'll say you guys have moved up and gotten a little bit closer. There's about 70 feet of mostly open ground. There's some low cover between here and there, maybe like a couple of ornaments or statues. On the map, it looks like wells, but we'll say that those are really like ornamental structures. The 3 Crimson Tri-Blades stand between the annex to the hallways. And again, there's a hallway on the left, which would go, we'll say, to Industrial 1. There's a hallway on the right, which will say will go to Industrial 2. Although, again, once you guys get past them, you could switch over. Just getting past them is the goal. And there's basically 2 doors past them. The 2 tri-blades stand in front of the doors, and 1 stands a little bit ahead in front of their compatriots.
Okay. I whisper to Zero, do you think you can take one of them out with one of those handy-dandy headshots?
That took me, what was it, like 15 to 20 minutes last time?
It required you to have unfettered time to line it up. You don't quite have unfettered time. I would definitely give you we'll call it like a sniper's bonus to like a preemptive attack, and it would be outside of traditional like attack rolls. Like I think I'd give you the hit. It would just be like a damaging roll. It wouldn't be an assassination roll. You don't quite have the time to set that up. You guys are operating under. You have a little bit less than 15 minutes to solve this.
Okay. Well, is there anything between me and their, like, is there a route around? What's this thing? I'm pointing at on the map.
It's like a wooden structure.
Yeah, over about 10, 20, 30 feet to there.
I'll call that, like, that's the traditional outpost for where station security would be posted outside of hallways, because hallway travel is usually restricted.
Is it a building or just a...
It's like a building. It's like a little guard hut. Like when you drive onto college campuses and they have like a guard posted, same thing.
Is there a way for me to sneak around to that side?
I mean, you could certainly try. It would require some opposed rolling. I will say, ignore any of on this map, the white shrubbery. That's nothing. That's just going to be like pathways.
I thought there was smoke. I thought that was very apropos for what we were about to do.
Oh, well, we can call it smoke afterwards, but I don't actually know what it is supposed to be. Again, I kind of quickly... Oh, it's snow. This was a snow map. That's what it was. Ignore the snow. The shrubbery and everything else is if there's like a little shrubbery, there's some buildings you guys are at, like residential buildings. We'll call this a guard hut, and this might be like a food stand like to the upper left portion of this little clearing. But you would, for at least a couple of moments, be passing through like clear area, and these people are standing on guard, so it would be an opposed check.
Okay, is there any way to go around off the map to approach, say, run down a block and
come from the sides?
Yeah.
It would be a similar setup. I don't think it would give you any advantage because they're not like statues. They're standing, imperiously, hands on hips, and
I know they're doing their job. Yeah.
But they're also looking, around. Especially the 2 behind are looking around. The one on point forward is kind of looking at the area in front of them. This isn't their first time.
Okay. Well, I'm not quite stealthy enough where that will do me any good. So, I mean, all I've got is run and gun and pray for good luck.
Do you want to give me the flash grenade and I'll see how close I can get?
I already...
You only gave me the smoke grenade.
Yeah. I wanted to throw that. I hand him
You can.
No, I hand him the thing and I'm sad about it.
That's...
How stealthy are you? You're very stealthy, aren't you?
Yeah, I think I have a plus 13.
Okay. Well, that's more than double me.
Alright. So...
And he doesn't often roll 1s, I've noticed. So probably...
I roll 2s.
Probably for the best.
Well, with the plus 13, even rolling a 2 does you okay.
Yeah, no, my minimum roll is a 14. It's great. Alright, so let's start the stealth and hope it works. 18.
Okay, and I'm going to check this against their perception, which I should have all handy-dandy in front of me.
Before we even do that, granted, I'll just use that as my first roll. I'm near walls and stuff right now. Could I attempt to climb over that wall instead of...
No, that's a full building. It's not like a wall. That's like a house. That's okay. Like the edge of the dome. There's a bit of a gap between like the glass wall and the houses, but you guys are in a residential area of like you're in a suburb. That's somebody's house.
Okay.
I thought their perception would be obvious, but that's just going to be wisdom. So yeah, okay. There's nothing there. That's fine. They're not actually that perceptive. And oof, I've rolled my second nat 1 for the evening. I am not liking my chances. No, you're able to kind of sneak on past them as far as you can tell.
I don't think I have control of my.
You should, because I pulled it
also
from
don't
you.
have oh, are you on the?
No, I was on select move and it didn't work.
No, it's not on you. You should be on the. So when I pull from your character sheet, you should already be on there. I shouldn't have to do this every time, but that's fine. I'll have to fix it off screen. You have it now.
All right. So.
Oh, Rye had his, so it's just yours was weird.
All right. So 5, 15, 20, 25, 35.
So I know you're kind of measuring it out for like a turn movement. You guys aren't in combat yet, so wherever you're looking to get, let me know, and I can tell you, how well feasible you think it'll be.
I'm trying to get there, but I assumed it would take at least a second roll.
No. Your roll is well enough that you kind of like you use the shrubbery to get past like the obvious area. Like you wait for like all of their heads to be turned a little bit off center, and again they are wearing heavy armor, like not necessarily like the heaviest armor, but they're wearing ornate and large armor. Their helmets cover half of their faces, so you do see that they are all at least humanoid underneath. And again, you do see like maybe like a little bit more of a softer jaw, which is either an effeminate man or the female of the group, because you do know one of them is a sister to one of the others. Otherwise, there's maybe one of them has like more of a square jaw with stubble, and the other one is hard to determine. You sneak on past when they're looking away, and then like from the shrubbery, when they look away again, you're able to dart really quickly to this little guard shack. So yeah, you are at the guard shack right now.
All right. How tall is the guard shack?
7 feet tall.
Okay, and I'm readying an action.
Sure.
I have smoke grenade in hand.
Yep.
I'm not looking towards the action because I'm not dumb. When I hear the explosion of the flashbang, which is a distance far away enough to not make me go deaf, I'm hauling ass.
The radius for the flashbang is only like 5 feet, right? So you're totally fine.
No, the radius for the flashbang I think is like.
It's 5 feet.
That's 5 feet.
It's a 5-foot blast, so
Okay.
a 10 by 10 square, so 2 square by 2 squares. Well, square, like 2 by 2 square.
All right. Well, I guess blind the one closest to the hallway, and
Yep.
you could let go of both grenades at the same time. Well, I don't know if Dustin will allow that.
It would probably just take the negative of doing
Minus
a full
4.
attack.
Yep. So I think I don't remember. And Chris, could you look up while you're doing this? Do the grenades get thrown onto the square or to the the where they intersect?
The intersect. So so if he nails, take for example this point right here. So it would be actually I can draw this out.
So it would miss both of them, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So if he hit like right in the middle of this square here, it's a 2 by 2 square. That's all it is.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Thank you. What's the radius on your smoke? Same thing, 2 by 2.
Smoke is 20 foot, 20-foot radius. So if he hits right in the middle, 5, 10, 15, 20, it's going to be basically 4 squares in each direction from that.
Okay, thank you. There you go, guys. That's how your grenades work. Chris and I were making grenades for Rye in the side chat.
The grenades are extremely weird, the rule set. They're in 3 different places. 3. Doesn't need to be, but
Yeah,
I digress.
Grenades are rarely used, I think.
Well, they won't be if we
I actually found out that grenades are super OP.
yeah. Later they do get pretty
I know, even level 1 grenades, just because their blast radius is so huge, and they automatically deal half damage.
Later, I can put
That's
spells
true.
on them too.
But let's worry about now instead of later. Thank you,
Alright.
guys.
So
What's your deal, Zero?
To stealthily climb up to the top of the guard shack.
Okay. Yeah, that will take another stealth check because you guys are doing something a little bit more aggressive, and I'll give another.
It'd also take athletics.
To
climb
yeah,
a building.
that's right. Yeah, I'd give that
Athletics
to be
or acrobatics?
acrobatics check.
No, that would be athletics. To climb, it's athletics.
He's correct. I'm sorry. Athletics is the strength one,
Is
right?
athletic? Yes.
Thank you. Yep, it would be athletics.
Acrobatics is dexterity based.
Yeah, and this isn't like you can do like a Mario wall jump. It's just a single standing structure.
Yeah. But parkour, that's acrobatics.
Yeah, I would have allowed like a wall jump if he had the option, but it's not there.
All right. So, do you want the stealth first, or do you want?
You know what? Let's make the acrobatics because that might make the stealth a little bit easier or harder.
All right. So, that's like the only one I didn't build out.
I was wondering why you were asking.
I was pushing for
He doesn't need strength. He's a dex-based character.
19.
No, you're fine. You're able to get that no problem. It was a low DC. It's not very high.
Get a +7. You didn't build that out. Bite me.
And a 24 for the stealth.
Okay. I
You
rolled
find
another
the ladder
natural
on the
one.
back of the
I'm
building.
putting.
So, say, is it even possible for them to catch me if they have
Uh,
20? Wouldn't that, unless they have +4s, they couldn't catch me regardless.
I have to check their sheet, but you're right. They would be pretty hard to catch you. I don't know. Their wisdom is nothing, but I didn't see if I had on their sheet like their skills. I do. I do have skills for them. And they did not put anything into perception, so he literally could not have seen you. Good call. That is metagaming that I shouldn't have given you anyways, but that's fine. So you make it up to the guard shack and you kind of like pull yourself like prone, so you're kind of like on your stomach. I will say if you stand up, you are going to be in view of all three of them.
Yep. Nah, I figured as much. And then I wanted to attempt to flashbang and subsequently throw the smoke grenade.
All right. Now, when you say subsequently, are you throwing one and then the other, or are you trying to do throwing them both at the same time?
One then the other.
Oh.
Okay, so one will trigger initiative rolls.
So if you were to throw one right here-ish, you'd be able to cover all of them in smoke.
With the smoke, yes.
Yeah, just saying.
Well, the smoke we want to cover are, well, I guess in this case it would be good for both. But
Well, Zero, which grenade are you doing first?
I intended to throw the flashbang first.
That's fair. And you're throwing it to hit Crimson 2 as I have them listed?
That one.
Okay.
Bottom right.
Yep.
Or southeast.
Yeah, well, we'll say on the map. It's the bottom right, one of the ones in front of the actual doors to get into the hallway annex. All right, make your roll. I believe this is, let's see, so it's a strength check for the throw, and you just have to beat a 5 or something. It's ridiculous. Very
5 per 20 feet.
Yeah, he's not within, that's fine. So 5.
All right. And technically, I was about to say I could trick attack him because there's no him there, but I wouldn't do anything, I don't think, to the grenade. Actually, never mind, I can't. Well, so it'd be
Wait, did you say
13.
it's
Or
5?
it'd be a
per
10.
20 feet.
5 per 20 feet.
It would be
So-
10, not 14.
Yeah.
10 is more than enough.
10 actually hits 2 degrees of success.
Yep. So you are able to land. The flashbang happens. Do you have the grenade effect up for flashbang, Chris?
I do. They have to make a save.
In which is the save?
The save is 10 plus half the grenade's item level, so 1. Plus your dexterity modifier, 0.
So 4.
So a total of 15.
15, and that's a reflex save, correct?
Correct.
Where
It's
are...
a reflex even for a flashbang?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the thing that I had to research the longest because it didn't make sense to me. But yeah, it says
Looking very fast.
So that's
Reflex.
a 16. What was the DC it had to beat?
15.
Okay. So what is the effect of a flashbang if
Blinded for 1d4 rounds,
with a
but
success?
it does nothing. He closed his eyes.
All right. So I now need you guys to roll initiative. Rye, they are not aware of you, but for the sake of initiative, that's fine.
And you said we were getting through this today.
I was wrong.
Oh, great! My first time rolling above a 9.
Hey, that's actually a good thing. You know, you could delay your turn.
last time.
Yeah, I got a
so-
nat 20 on my initiative. First action, delay my turn.
So Rye, you rolled what?
25.
Okay. And what did Seeker roll?
Huh?
0.
Sorry, 0. Whatever.
Yeah, no, that's why I wasn't.
Come on,
answering.
All the
They're both
androids look alike.
robots.
All the
androids, come on.
24.
24. Oh, okay. All right.
Notice
Uh,
I had to roll a nat 20 to beat him.
Yep, pretty much. You guys actually go first.
Okay.
Specifically, Rye goes first.
I'm going. So, in order for me, if I understood that correctly, to hit. You know what? Hold on. What is what? Go.
Just as an option, you do have the ability to run.
Yep. that's
Which
what I was
means you have
doing.
4 times your movement. Which, if you're 30, that's 120.
Right. So I'm just gonna do that.
You will draw an attack of opportunity from one of them.
I will draw 1 attack of opportunity, which I
As
get.
far as you're aware.
Which I will get a plus 4 to my AC for, so I'm less concerned with that. I'm gonna delay my turn by 1. Actually, I don't
Until
know.
So you
after
go
Zero
after me.
acts. That's
until
fine.
after he throws the smoke grenade. Yeah, and then I'm just gonna full run through.
Can I give you a GM metagaming tip?
Yeah.
Could you use your limited telepathy? Oh, what's the range on your limited telepathy?
He might not have line of sight on me.
Yeah, it would be
No,
30 feet.
I'd say line of sight's there.
I think
I'm
it's
not
30
worried.
feet.
Is it 30 feet?
It might be.
All right, so yeah, you're just gonna have to hope that he does what you want and stop talking about it, you metagaming bastards.
Well, no,
Because I
that's why
wasn't
gave
doing
him
that first.
Yeah, Cyril, what are you doing as Rye waits?
Like one would assume, I'm throwing the smoke grenade.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I assumed. And
Yeah, it is
30
30
feet.
feet. Yeah, I just looked it up too.
Oh.
so if you're trying to throw it to where it would hit all of them, you would need,
Probably more like here.
and then we said that was gonna be 4x4, right?
No, it's a 20-foot. It's a 20-foot spread. So wherever it lands, 20 feet radius. So it's
You'd need to hit about you'd need to hit about here anyways to get them encompassed in the smoke. If you're trying to, are you trying to cover them all in the smoke, or is that not the plan?
I was more thinking cover the hallway.
Just the hallway. Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Hallway plus the 2 that would be in Rise Path.
Okay. So that I'd say you just the DC 5 on that strength check again.
16.
Yeah, perfect. In fact, do me a favor, draw out where the smoke would be coming from, and just do the 20 by 20. Feel free to use whatever tool roll 20 gives you.
So,
Don't draw a penis.
why not?
Please don't draw a penis.
Can I?
No.
Draw
No.
2 penises.
Is the roll 20 map up on the
Yeah, it
Twitch? I
is.
didn't. Okay, I don't have it up because I can't do more than things at once.
Yep.
Maybe on Friday when I come and build your computer.
Yeah, it's all, everything's arrived. I
Nice.
just need the solid state that I'm buying from you,
Mhm.
and then
I have
Windows. I need to buy Windows at some point.
Yeah.
We're gonna cut this. We're gonna cut
No,
this.
that's fine.
Ha ha ha.
Stop that. All right, that's enough. I can
yeah,
work with that.
you understand what I'm going with that?
Yeah, that's fine. You're a hot mess, but that's fine. So what you do is you kind of like roll the second grenade off. As you notice, instead of them being stunned by that first flashbang, instead of like you expected some disorientation, instead 3 crimson-clad heads swivel directly to you, and that's when you kind of do and you push the other grenade off the roof. It rolls, it bounces, and it begins spinning and emitting billowing smoke, which quickly engulfs the 2 tri-blades closest to you and obscures the vision from you to the other one as well. And it billows out and quickly covers in that door to the hallway as well. And you succeed there perfectly. You actually still have a move action if you would so choose.
They also have to make fortitude saves.
So it's 40.
Anybody who's in there, each character who inhales smoke must succeed at a fortitude save each round. DC equals 15 plus 1 per previous check, or spend that round choking and coughing, and he can do nothing less.
So the one that's on. Let's see, where is this? We'll say that was that. The one closest to you actually begins you hear coughing and sputtering from that one. And what was the DC? The actual DC?
15.
15. I think they actually both. I don't think their fortitude is that great. It was 15.
Yep.
The other one's unaffected.
All right.
They're
A character who chokes for 2 consecutive rounds takes 1d6 non-lethal damage. Regardless of the armor, smoke obscures vision, granting concealment to anyone within.
Yep. So you're concealed from all of them. One of them, the closest to you, has begun coughing. You can tell just because of the sound. And you have a move action left to you, 0.
So can I run through that? Well, actually, I suppose I technically have to spend my turn getting up.
Yeah. So you'd have to get up from being prone, basically.
Yeah, so I guess I'm going to do that. And
Okay, nope, that's fair. And now, Rai, you witness the smoke billowing out. You notice Zero getting up, looking like he's ready to bolt. And what are you doing?
Well, I didn't know about the smoke inhalation, but plans have been made, and I'm not getting left behind, so I guess I have to risk it. And I'm gonna haul ass.
Well, you can hold your breath, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, you're running straight through it, right?
Okay.
And you know it's
You'd
there.
have to
Yeah, you know
end
it's
your
there.
turn,
I mean, it's
probably.
you just hold your breath.
Okay. So I have plenty of room.
Yeah, you basically. So what happens is anyone watching from behind, not that there is anyone. Maybe there's a video camera that's monitoring the hallway, which that seems right. Central Dome is pretty secure. What they see is, in fact, could you describe how you run as you as you enter this billowing cloud of smoke?
Fast.
Fast. All right. Allow me to color then.
I thought I was just being funny.
Don't be funny. I didn't ask you to be funny.
I'm always funny.
Look.
So I mean, generally speaking, if a camera were looking down, you would see the blinding flash, everyone swivel, and then I had like a false start because I was originally planning on going on the boom, but when I see that everyone's unaffected by it, I wait for the cloud to come through. As soon as that happens, I'm just booking it. It looks like I'm sprinting through, determined to get through, little scared.
What the camera actually sees is a slightly ungainly run, where it's knees to chest and elbows going high. His like long fancy coat billowing behind him as he runs, and then he almost leaves a body shaped imprint into the smoke as he enters it, totally Looney Tunes style. And just keeps running, now getting Forrest Gump style, just keeps running through, stops for nothing. Fortunately, it was a straight shot, so he doesn't worry about he can't actually see throughout the smoke.
I like to see myself running like Vash the Stampede when he's
Perfect. That is the perfect image. Vash the Stampede running anywhere. And you get through, and you actually exit the other side surprisingly unscathed. No one swung at you. The smoke is trailing off of you and your coat. You don't stop running necessarily, but
Nope.
You're through, and you're surprised at how well that worked. In terms of mechanics, the one that you ran past was the one coughing and sputtering. They did not ever, in any way, shape, or form, even know you were there.
like a ninja.
Yes, that's exactly what that looked like a ninja.
I am the knight.
Now in order of this, so they have concealment against here. So the first Crimson Tri-Blade to react actually steps trot as far as they can outside of the smoke to get out of the billowing, and then they pull back and they see Zero on top of the guard hut, still there. Maybe you see some frustration as they pull so they've got an energy blade had been ignited while they were moving, and it's a really ugly looking energy blade that hisses and spits out excess energy. This thing was ad hoc and custom made. Looks frustrated at their weapon, and instead has to draw a dinky little pistol, which looks like not quite noisy cricket style, but this is a very subtle personal pistol he pulls out, and he actually doesn't have any other actions because he does not have a quick draw sheath. This one does not. The second one has to make another save, I believe. Makes it.
That is correct.
Is done sputtering, but I assume that takes up their turn. Is the idea? Do we know if the save gives them a turn or not?
I'm sorry. What was his roll? Because it's now 15 plus 1.
It was like a 17 on the dice.
All right. So yeah, he has a turn.
Okay. So the tri-blade that made it through the smoke is yelling to the others, still on top of the guard shack. Just get up there. And the coughing, sputtering finally finishes. They find the guard shack mostly by feel and attempt to pull themselves up with you. Yeah, they're able to succeed. Where did your token go? Oh, right there. Okay, I kind of hit it myself.
It's in the smoke.
And they pull themselves up and out of the smoke. And then they are with you. I'm actually going to say that's going to end their round, though, just because the pulling themselves up, the getting out of the smoke, the clearing, the coughing, that is where they end up. And then the last tri-blade, you know what? He enters the annex cautiously.
Did he have to pull himself up prone like I did?
No. I had you doing that for stealth purposes. This was just a pull up, get knee on, kick themselves up so that they are on your level. The last tri-blade disappears into the hallway annex and is looking to catch up with Rye. I will say that that's going to be more of a chase than an encounter, so that one's effectively off the table. Zero, briefly, what is your plan now?
Acrobatics check off and then full sprint.
So the problem with full sprint is that it requires you to be going straight line and without any adjustments. Like you can't turn corners or anything like that. With the tri-blade in front of you, basically on top of this guard shack, you'd actually have to. You could double move, and that's fine. But a full sprint wouldn't be available to you this time.
I'll do a double move then, and I'll probably. Well, I don't have to breathe through the smoke anyways because I'm an android.
Yep, that's not a problem for you at all.
All right.
So stupid.
So you can make your moves. Make the and this one would be an acrobatics check. And as you're doing that, they're gonna swing at you.
I'm taking a. I was gonna take a 5-foot step away.
There's no 5-foot step in Starfinder. You could take a guarded step, but that is a move action. So you'd only be able to do like
a guarded step, and then okay.
And that's fine if that's what you want to do.
I'll do the guarded step, and then the acrobatics check, and the rest of my move.
That's fine. Yeah. So you'll have you'll have a guarded step, which is one of your move actions. And then the acrobatics, and then you can move the remaining feet.
If you wanted to, you could tumble. It's an acrobatics. You tumble through opponent's attack of opportunity. You only move at half speed.
What is the? Is it like a?
It is the move through a threatened area is 15 plus 1.5 times opponent's CR.
I suppose I'll try that then.
Okay, so 15. You make your roll then. 1.5 times?
21.
Oh yeah, you'll make it. That's fine. Thank you for doing it high enough that I didn't actually have to do the math. CR3. You guys weren't supposed to encounter these guys with two people. So you basically what you do is like their energy blade whishes over your head, and you literally duck and roll onto your shoulder. You get to the edge of this guard shack, and you're going to hit the ground. Give me an acrobatics check to see how well you hit it.
25.
Perfect, no problem. You hit, roll, tumble off the entire guard shack. That was 10 feet, and you are at half speed. So I believe you have 15 feet left. Sorry, 5 feet left.
10 feet left.
You move faster. Okay.
I have a 40-foot movement speed.
Yeah, I thought you might. So you get to move another 10 feet, which puts you through the doorway if you so choose, as you go through the smoke. And now you have your second move action, and you are in the annex, and you'll be entering the hallway. Okay, and you just use it to kind of keep going down the hallway.
Apparently catch up with Rye.
Actually, no. You don't anywhere near catch up with Rye. Rye just stopped at that. Like Rye is still like do, and his coat's still trailing smoke as he's running through, and you're like cautiously going through because you know you're trying to get your way through. You've got your pistol up. You ready?
So I'd move technically 10 feet off the map.
I'm totally okay with that. We're actually gonna when we pick up next time, we'll be doing a chase scene, not an encounter. You guys will be out of normal combat, and we'll be doing a chase scene down the hallway. Doubling back in our last couple of minutes to our folks at the bottom of Central Tower, which is below the security station. What were your rolls for those engineering checks that you guys?
I got them written down. All right. The first roll, a total with assist, is 28.
28.
Second roll, 41. Yeah, and the third roll is a 23.
All right. all of those are enough. You didn't actually have to take any extra time on that. So as you guys are kind of drilling down into the station, it took you 15 minutes to get everything down there. It took you, we'll call it another 5 minutes to hash out the plan with Kamira, the magistrate's wife. You had 10 minutes until the hallways closed. It took you probably 15 to 20 minutes of like absolutely diligently like burrowing down in there. Miller was like down in there like double checking the work like with his goggles on, Cortex running full stream, and he's like pointing out like weaknesses where you can kind of like angle the machine so it's drilling down a little bit further every time. And a job that probably would have normally taken at least a half hour, even with you guys being on the thinnest part of the station. You guys do it in almost half the time. And you do manage to burn through a hole enough for someone to kind of crawl out. Not enough like that you can kind of stand out. As you guys puncture through, I will say, though, that the atmosphere out of this room vents, and it wrenches, as you break through, it kind of pulls at the device. And as you guys keep pushing it through, because you need to make the hole big enough, it does jettison the device into like below the station. It just launches into space. All the air in the room starts flowing past you. As you guys are already equipped with mag boots that I've given you from the beginning of the game, you're not in any danger getting sucked out yourselves. You were prepared for this. Everything vents behind you into space. You guys cleared out the room enough so it wasn't like chairs are hitting you or anything like that. It's just you now have a little vacuum area as you guys are at the edge of the station. Who pokes their head out first? Or
Miller does.
Probably Miller.
So as like Miller kind of like creeps up and looks out, you are as where the station is. There's the top dome, 2 domes below. You are in the middle of the 3 dome tier below that, which again it's like a pyramid, so it's kind of a round. And then below you there are 4 domes. Dead Dome has already been disconnected. Now the other ones, everyone else is still attached by the hallway, but the Dead Dome hallways have been jettisoned, and the dome itself is kind of floating off into space. And you're watching as brilliant beams of light issue from off the periphery, from where you can see from a distance, nothing close to it, but large beams of light are just smashing into this like floating, already damaged dome, slowly reducing it to further rubble.
That was Dead Dome that's getting demolished,
Dead
right?
Dome is getting demolished.
Yeah, because I'm looking at my notes. It's like
Now
it's
it's
not
real
going
dead.
anywhere.
What was that?
Now it's real dead.
Yeah, now it's real.
Well, I
dead.
was gonna say, Dead Dome doesn't have a destination, so they were just burning it off.
Correct. And as you look out and you kind of try and orient yourself to looking at the industrial domes, which are below you, so you have perfect vantage point. You have no idea what's above you. You can't really see where those blasts are coming from. You look below you and you see. Give me a perception check, and I'll be a little bit more clear as to what you see.
Good thing Brawl didn't stick his head out.
No, this is a brawl overall. It's 14 is more than enough, though. You notice that there is a large amount of debris that was not there before. And from Rex's story over the comm, you were pretty sure that these are exploded ship debris, and they vary in sizes from freighters such as yourselves to much bigger cargo haulers to even some of the ore like big travelers that would like tow asteroids.
Sure.
They just destroyed and obliterated, littering out below and spreading out in the zero G environment, spreading out away from the station.
Now, how about the drill? Is it being targeted? Is it being shot at? Is it even noticed? It's too small. Okay.
Yep. Not a problem. It's also like you shut it off as it was going out. Like it didn't, like it's not live or anything.
Does Miller see any of the big black boxes?
Yeah. If you look around, there's 4 black boxes, equidistant from each other. You're not terribly far from one of them where you are. And yeah, you definitely see them. You also see something on your periphery, and it's moving through space quickly, and it seems to be like circling down below where the most of the docks are. There are on the lower levels, Industrial 1, Industrial 2 being the biggest docks on the station. And we're going to end the episode with this image because it is something that Miller has not seen before and would not have seen before. It appears to be almost a giant metallic person or humanoid shape just jettisoning back and forth.
Is it Iron Man? It's Iron Man.
Iron Giant.
it's more the appropriate size for the Iron Giant.
Mm.
You can't tell exactly how big it is because you are a significant distance.
Gundam.
Liberty Prime.
You are seeing some sort of mechanized humanoid shape moving down below Pyramid Station Alpha.
Neat.
And it seems to be specifically guarding the docks. It goes out of view for you as it goes below a dome, and then just as quickly jettisons out through another dome. And it's moving at very high speed.
Superman.
And that's what you have sent. That's what you have sent Rye and Zero to deal with. And as you maybe pull up your comms to try and message your friends, you realize that someone has gained control of the communication jammer, and communications are once again locked down.
All right.
Womp womp.
Next time on Never Split the Party's Starfinder campaign, we will have the party is split. We will have the final episode of our prologue arc, one way or the other, as the party tries to deal with the new developments with Pyramid Station Alpha, and either getting off or saving.
Yeah.
Until then, I just ask everyone to remember, never split the Goram party.
Yeah,
Rex.
Rex,
I'm glad
See,
other people got
everybody
it.
knew- yeah,
Yes.
Rex.
except for Chris.
Oh,
I
that's
called
so
out
good.
Dustin.
We are going